So this mom buys her daughter a Honda Accord as a graduation gift. And I want y'all to check out her response. Now, I'm 52 this year. I'm from a whole different generation. Yeah, I'm old. All right. But when I saw this, I thought about my daughter, who's turning 12 this year. I thought about what kind of teenager that I'm potentially going to raise, what kind of person, what kind of human being I'm going to raise. This gave me pause. This really made me think. Am I making good choices with my daughter? I pray to God I am. I pray to God every day about the choices I make with my daughter and how I show up for her. But yeah, this really I know it's humorous to some people. It was in the sips tea category, so people are looking at it as salacious. But I looked at it as sad because I think that's where we are in society. And there was a time, and I know this is a horrible thing to say, there was a time when I used to see stuff like this and I used to go, oh, those must be some white kids. No, it doesn't matter anymore. White kids, black kids, Asian kids, Hispanic, it doesn't matter the culture. These kids disconnected from their parents without any kind of moral compass or boundary or sense of self, or I want to say maybe ethics or personal responsibility or accountability. This is what you get. So y'all see this car, right? This is a nice car. I mean, by any measure, I don't care if you're rich or poor. This is a fly car. This is a better car than what I have, right? So this kid graduates from high school. High school. Keep that in mind. And I know you're already knowing where this is going because this is 2026 and you know the internet, but I want you to rock with me and read this. This child says, so the mom's in blue. She says, "Where did you go?" The girl goes, "I'm with dad." "Okay, you didn't seem like you liked the car," she said. I got to laugh on this. She says, "I don't. I was expecting to get a Benz or a BMW. I appreciate you, Mom, but it's just not my style. You drive a G-Wagon, so me driving a basic Honda is weird." I didn't even read the mom's response at that point. I stopped there. Can you imagine that you got your kid a vehicle, a new vehicle, bow-tied with a congratulations on it, and your child, and I don't care what kind of grades they got, I don't care what kind of student they got, they saw this, and they threw their face up, soured their face up, and then turned around and left. Didn't even drive, just left it right there and stormed off to go hang out with Pops. Are you for real? So Mom said, "You realize you just graduated high school, right? Not college, not law school, high school." When I was in high school, I had a Pinto. My peoples find a used Pinto, and you best believe I had to take care of it. Of course, it didn't last but a year or so. I got into an accident, and then I had to deal with it, right? But that's what you get. You get a beater. Literally, it's called a beater for a reason because you're going to beat that joint up. So I had a beater in high school. So these kids today are entitled with a brand new vehicle that is fly by any measure, all right? She said, "You realize you just graduated from high school, right? You have a roof over your head." I say that to my daughter all the time. "You got a roof over your head. What you pouting for? You got a roof over your head. You don't have to pay nay bills." This is me talking. That's not what it said. That's what I say to my daughter. "You ain't got to pay nay bills. Your college is paid for. You don't have to rush to leave home. So we're not pushing you out the door. We're trying to give you some comfort room because we understand what these streets are like. And your life is set. We got you. And you're going to sit up, I know they black. You're going to sit up here and tell me." That's how you know they're black, because I can hear my mom saying this. "You're going to sit up here and tell me you don't like a car I paid cash. I paid cash for. That is crazy work." That's what she said. That's what the letter says right there. That's crazy. That is very ungrateful. Very ungrateful. Ridiculous. Actually, Don't even fix your lips to say you appreciate me. I added the fix your lips part because I'm channeling my mom's. Don't even fix your lips to say you appreciate me. If you appreciated me, you would drive that car and not have the nerve to storm off with an attitude and leave. You done lost your mind. If you're not going to drive the car, I will sell it. Watch me. See if I don't do it. See if I don't do it. She said, I'm not going to kiss my child's ass. I'm 45. Oh, I don't even know what she's going to say next. But normally when women talk like that, they be like, I'm grown. I'm grown. I don't know whose house you think this is. She ain't say that, but I'm just saying. Y'all know. If you know, you know. I work hard for my G-Wagon. That's what she said. That's my car. That I work hard for it. I got mine. You got to go get yours. But I'm going to help you by giving you this little kiss of privilege that you got because we done worked hard to get you here. But you going to look at me and spit in my face? You going really? That's what's going on here? Nah. See, what's going to happen is you're a teenager graduation. You didn't work hard for any. She got a better diction than me. I would say you ain't worked hard for nothing yet. How dare you? How dare you? Girl, you done lost your mind. That's what she said. She ain't say that, but that's what she said. So, all right, naturally, there's a more, right? So I bet you in a sensible world, in the back in the day world, right? The pre-gentle parenting world. And again, I'm going to say gentle parenting. Let me put this in context. I have never laid hands on my daughter a day in her life. I come from a household where you got beatings. It wasn't child abuse. You got beatings, like normal beatings, right? Everybody did. And I had to take a hard moment as a parent and go, you know what? I hear spare the rod and spoil the child, but I interpreted that to mean spare the punishment. Don't spoil your child by not punishing them. Because look, and this is a sidetrack. I just want to get this out there. The reason I never laid a hand on my daughter and would never lay a hand on my daughter is because it's twofold. One, I don't want to set a precedent. Because look what you're essentially teaching. You're going, hey, you did a thing wrong, right? And the results of that is for me to physically teach you through pain that this is the consequence of doing that wrong thing. That is the ultimate consequence. Yeah, I just want to make sure my speaker's on because I forgot. The other day I recorded and the speaker wasn't on, so I want to make sure it's there. That's the ultimate consequence of the wrongdoing you did. So to teach you to never do that again, I'm going to give you pain as a love lesson. And I started thinking about that as an adult, right? Because as a child and even as a teenager and even as a young adult, before I had kids, I kept thinking, yeah, that makes sense. That's how I was brought up. It's right. That's how their parents were brought up. That's what the Bible says. And then you make it make sense until you don't. Until one day you realize, okay, so as a father, and you pray that your daughter makes good choices so they don't get with a abusive boyfriend, all right? And I know women who've been in abusive situations. You think how the abuser would be thinking. This girl stepped out of line, said a thing, did some infraction. So I got to put her in her place by laying hands on her. I love her, but I got to lay hands on her to teach her to don't disrespect or do me that way again. Don't go against me again. See what I'm saying? See how that sounds? That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. That's abuser talk. So, and again, don't get it twisted. I'm not talking about when you're a little kid, you're a little child, and you're trying to give the quick, don't touch the hot plate and pop their hand real quick or something. Excuse me. That's different. That's different. You're not trying to hurt them. You're trying to quickly capture their attention, right? So they can hear what you're trying to tell them. That's for an infant or a young child. The goal is not to punish them. The goal is to quickly assault the senses so you can capture their attention. That's very different. What we're talking about is corporal punishment, spanking. So I mean, it's not ambiguous. It's clear. I'm not a fan of spanking. I don't do it. We don't do it in our house. We do other forms of punishment. And my daughter has been an exemplary child and about to hit 12. So something's working. All right. So here we are. My point is, I got sidetracked. My bad, y'all. So here we are, and I realized that spanking and physical negative consequences probably aren't the way. As a father, that's not what I want to do. That's not the lesson I want to set, and that's not the expectation that I want to send her off into this life with, so she can receive that, or she can continue that cycle with a man who punishes her for doing something that he does not agree with. I want to set a higher standard for my daughter, because that's the kind of the father I want to be. And I want her to see what love looks like in a house with a wife or a mother. We're still together, right? That we can have disagreements without raising voices or physical confrontation. All right, your boy got sidetracked. Here we go. So anyway, back in the day, that might be how that would have been dealt with parents of a previous generation. And then when the child, for fear of his life, for fear of their lives, realized the major level of disrespect that they did with their parents, the response is normally a serious apology to her, and considerable accommodation to the parent to make sure that they know that they heard you and they are sorry, and we will not step on those boundaries again. Let's see what this child said. They said, I just need y'all to see this because this is crazy. This is blowing my mind. Just sell it, Ma. I don't want it. Just sell it. The effort you took, the cash that you spent. You know what? What kind of car is that? I got to look this up because this is wild to me. What kind of car was that? It's a Honda. If anybody out there knows what kind of car that was, let me know. What kind of car is that? What kind of car is that? Okay, I don't know what that is. It's some kind of new Honda, probably hybrid. But the child said, nah, miss me on that one. You good. Sell it, right? So you know it's going to depreciate because your mom's... So, this child is so inconsiderate, knowing that she's not going to get the same amount she paid for it. She's going to take an L. Even if it's a slight L, even if it's $1,000, it's still $1,000 that's out of her pocket to resell the car. Nah, it's okay. That's mom's problem. I don't want that. I don't want that car. Don't even talk to me unless it's a Mercedes or a Beamer. Just sell it, Ma. I don't want it. That's what the child said. These the kids that we raising today. Yeah, I thought there might be more. I was hoping there might be more. Yeah, they blur it out in the IG or Instagram page, so I can't do any digging. But that's the gist of the story. What's the story here? What's the takeaway here? So, yeah, these children, we're going to use this as a stand-in for a lot of these children, these kids, these millennials. The problem isn't about corporal punishment. The question that we have to ask is twofold. One, is this generation of adults, because now we're talking about an adult. Now this kid's about to enter the world of college and the real world, either the professional world or the college world. Is this, y'all got the phone going off. I'm over here trying to get this podcast going. Oh, let's see what we got. Okay. My nephew just started. He's in his second year. He just finished his first year of college, and he has some spicy stuff to say about fraternity. So maybe that might be an upcoming episode. But anyway, are they equipped? Are they equipped to appreciate where they are? Right? Are they equipped to consider the realities of other people? Do they have the social skills to navigate different experiences? That's real talk. So, why those three questions? You have a young adult who is so disconnected from the feelings of her mother, the work of her mother, that she was dismissive about the inconvenience that the mother is going to have to go through to deal with the rejection of a gift. How does that fly in the real world? Let's just take all the name calling. Let's remove what we feel about the girl personally and wonder, how does that translate in the real world job environment? Can you afford to be oblivious of how other people interact with you? At your job, the efforts that people make to work with you as a teammate, because you're in your own space, because you have your own expectations. We're talking about real world, a translation of real world skills. Yeah, this is a humorous story. It's sad. But really what we're talking about is the ability to have emotional maturity. Are we raising a generation of people that is emotionally immature to adapt to the feelings, to their environment, and to disappointment? Are we raising a generation of people that don't know how to modify, adjust, adapt to, scale expectations? Are we raising a generation of people who are, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? Entitled. Colorblind. I'm not talking about white people privilege. I'm not talking about black people entitlement. Are we raising a generation of people who not only have their hands out, where's my job? Where's my future? Where's the car I deserve? Where's the life I deserve? Are we raising a generation of people who not only have their hands out, who don't know how to turn that into a fist and fight to get what they want when they didn't get what they thought they deserved? You may think I'm digging too deep into a humorous story, but this is really what we're talking about. I don't know what kind of relationship Mom Dukes and the child had. I don't know. I don't know if this was a gift that maybe they had a strained relationship, and this was the mom's going over the top, or maybe who knows? But that's not really the story. The story that we need to take away, and hopefully this is a story that we can take as the generation of millennials. I think that's what they are, right? The millennials now who are entering the workspace. We can look at this from the children that those millennials are raising, the youngest, I guess that's Gen Alpha or Gen Beta. I don't know what that's called, right? And we can look at this from me, the Gen X generation. All three of these, there's a lesson here. I think there's a lesson here. This is what I'm seeing. Where have we, the Gen Xers, failed to do the type of mentorship, outreach, communication, where we are taking the time to talk to the generation below us to lead by example for the generation below us, to show them that, yeah, the world is hard. Yeah, you're not getting what you always want. You're not getting what you think you deserve. Yeah, maybe you could have had better. There are things that you need that you don't have. We hear you and we feel you. But let me help you get the tools to navigate that landscape so you can do better than I did. I don't know. Did her mom remove suffering? The principle of working hard and denying gratification? I don't know. I tell you what, though, I do know a family who is close to me who let's say they were doing okay. I would say they were upper middle class for sure, right? So their kids could have had everything they wanted at a whim, right? Pops was always hardworking. Multiple, hours that you wouldn't believe, but always comes home with a smile on his face. Hardworking, right? So these kids, and I watched them grow up, could have totally been brats. Could have totally had anything they wanted. But the parents made sure to make sure that the clothes weren't always the flyest. They weren't always new. They didn't, if they wanted to play the latest video games, they better go to their cousin's house, go to their unc's house, go to their buddy's house, because it's not going to be there. They're going to have some for sure. But you better get used to them second hands. You better get used to the GameStop used store. You better get used to saving up what you have and trading it in. And if you want more money, you better do some chores. They didn't have to. They had the money. But they wanted to make sure. Oh, and here's another thing they did. I remember thinking about this when it was happening. Sometimes there would be events or things that were promised, but life might happen for the adults, work or something, and the event might have been canceled. Now, at first I thought, man, that's rough, man. Kids, man, they're just going to hold on to that. But what ended up happening is the kids started learning to accept that sometimes you get disappointed. It's not malicious. It's not intentional. As long as it was communicated and they understood and they see why it's happening. And the parents always made up for it. And they didn't make up for it by doubling. Like, oh, we didn't do this last time. You were supposed to go to, I'll throw it out there, Disney World. So now instead of going to Disney World, we're going to do it big. We're going to go to Disney World for the whole week. Get ready, blow it up. No, it wasn't like that. It was more like, we couldn't make the thing happen last time. I got caught up doing this stuff. It's out of my control. Life happens. But the life that you have is because of what I'm working on here. I'm sorry. We're going to make it up. We're going to do it next time. I promise. And those kids will have to learn, not like in sitcoms where they go, oh man, this sucks. Why didn't Pop and Mom make more time for me? Not one like that. It was like, okay, I see what's happening. I see the life that I have. I see what my friends have. I see how they're turning out. And I understand why they're doing it. It sucks in the moment, but I get it. And it's not one kid. All the kids ended up like this. And now you have mature, emotionally conscious, emotionally aware, financially, fiscally conscious kids who are now young adults. And that's because of the work and the foundation that their parents laid down. So I don't know what happened in this story, but I can tell you this. Those kids that I just described, if they got a car like that, first of all, they would have considered it blessed. Because their father, who was doing very well, was driving a beater purposely. They just made sure that beater got maintained. So they saw the lesson. They saw it. They internalized it. I don't know the situation, but I know that I'm trying to distill similar values, and I'm praying to God. I'm doing the best I can to communicate, be an example, be a guide, be a shoulder for my daughter so that she doesn't make a choice like this that turns into being a person that makes choices in her adult life that's going to keep her back from reaching the heights that she should reach.